Hello everyone and welcome to today's presentation of the RSM CLEARthru framework. My name is Christian Winsler. I'm a director with RSM and I work in our consulting practice focused on food and beverage clients. With traceability being one of the crucial topics everyone in the supply chain has to be concerned about today, and technology advancing at the speed it has been, CLEARthru really sits at that intersection, allowing companies to comply with business and government requirements on one side and taking advantage of these technologies that make life easier on the other side. So first, let's start with taking a look at what are the components of our CLEARthru framework and how does this technology really allow you to trace product through the value chain. The first part of the CLEARthru framework is really a comprehensive application interface that allows to write transaction to a particular blockchain, and on the other side, read those transactions back out of the blockchain accordingly. The second piece is an interface to interact with the customer or an end user and present that information that we've stored in the blockchain in an easily digestible format. If you look on this presentation here on the left side, you will see that the data can really come from any business application. That could be a Dynamics 365 or a NetSuite environment, whatever you are using to keep track of your traceability and or item information. And it can be connected to any blockchain technology that's out there through the CLEARthru SDK. On the other side, that same interface will allow you to read the data out from the blockchain and present it through our CLEARthru website to see if a product is safe to consume or some more detail about its origin, whatever you decide to expose through that service. So how does that then fit into the overall supply chain? When we look at how products flow through the value chain today, there's numerous parties involved in either transporting, processing, shipping, consuming, or further doing anything with any of those products. The way you have to envision that blockchain is really, it's an invisible chain that goes along the process, and each individual party can then record the respective information as blocks into that chain. The advantage of utilizing a blockchain like this is that it's accessible to everyone that is allowed to connect to it. It is secure, and it's a trustworthy platform as the data cannot be tampered with. Where our CLEARthru solution comes into play is really as a connector that allows these different parties with their different systems to connect to that same blockchain. In addition, as I've mentioned before, the framework also provides a web application that can then be used to display that information in a user-friendly version. As we'll see, in addition to giving consumers, be that an end customer, a restaurant, someone in food service, the ability to quickly see if a product is safe, there's also additional benefits in building a stronger brand relationship with that end customer. Now that we've set the stage, let me take you through a few transactions showing how they would interact with the CLEARthru framework and how we'll be able to see that information back out in the interface. For my example, I'm going to follow an orange through the process from the growing grove to the end consumer. And where does that all typically start? Again, that would be with the receiving in the packing house. When we're looking at that process, there's already 2 points here where we could write information to the blockchain. The first one would be the time of harvesting. The second one would be at the time when that produce or product is received into the warehouse. Typically, where we see the first touch point is when that product is received into the facility. So what we're going to do here is we're going to receive that product and process it through a purchase order into our environment. So when that product comes in, when a batch number will get assigned, you may call this a lot number to that actual transaction. What I'm doing is here, I'm using a purchase order in Dynamics 365 to get this product in. When we receive the product, in my example, I got the ability to assign attributes to this batch number. This could be a global location identifier, a range or a growth that is recorded and can be stored with that transaction. It can then be taken and it can be written to the blockchain as that grower origin information. If we're going out now and looking at CLEARthru, we can see that we have a first entry in here that shows that we've received this product with all the detail that we've sent out. Once that bulk product's in the warehouse, the next step in the supply chain would be the packaging. Let's take a look at how this advances from here. In D365, we'd be using a production order to turn the bulk orange into a packaged finished good item. In my example, we're going to be turning that bulk orange that we received into a 3-pound bag, and we're going to put nine of those bags into 1 carton. Through the production picking process, we're going to consume the received bulk orange into this production order, and then through the report as finished process, we're going to be recording how much of that finished good product we've actually produced. In my case here, we're only going to produce a pallet of 40 cartons, but in the real world, this would be a process that's going to be going on all day long. As you can see here, the finished good is going to get another batch number assigned. During this production process, we can now record some additional attributes against this batch. And this could be anything from specific quality attribute, and traceability number, or anything else that would be pertinent to your process. Through the quality module, we could also drive these attributes, and we could set something like a safe to eat parameter. And how that's going to be used, we'll show later, but this is going to be some information that we now can again write out to the blockchain as quality control data. So if we're looking again through CLEARthru, how that's going to look like, we now have a second entry in here that shows us, okay, we took the bulk orange, we're turning it into a finished good. Typically after that, product goes out, it gets shipped. So we're going to be using a sales order to ship this product out. This could be to a DC, this could be to a retailer, or any other type of recipient. During this step, once more, we're going to be specifying what batch numbers we're shipping out, and we'd have the ability to record additional attributes that we would be sending to the blockchain again with this transaction. If we're looking at this again through our CLEARthru interface, we now see a third transaction in here for the product that was shipped to, again, a customer or an end consumer. So now that we've got the product out there, let's say we are, a retailer or a consumer, we walk into a store and we see this delicious bag of oranges. We also heard something on the news about oranges, or we're just a conscious buyer that really likes to know, stuff about his produce. So what I can do now is I could pull out a regular phone, I can scan the QR code that will be attached to that orange bag. What this would do is would take me directly to our CLEARthru website, where I can then see, okay, this product here is safe to consume. In addition to that, we could also present additional information about where did the product come from, what was the history of the transactions, or anything else that we decide to expose to an end consumer. The other option is that when I scan the product, it's not safe to consume. I could be immediately alerted that there's an issue with this produce and that we should return it. So we have an opportunity here to make sure at the different stages we can prevent this produce from being introduced into the actual food chain. What typically happens though, someone picks up a bag of oranges, it looks fine, they go home. Now, with the ability to sign up for notifications, we can then alert someone in case we find out afterwards something happened. We could use this, for example, for a produce alert. So again, if we then do a test afterwards and we find out that there's an issue with that produce, we could send a notification, or this could be coupons or any other type of special deals to build a stronger brand relationship. If we're bringing this all back together, we started out with CLEARthru, this being a couple of boxes that go in between you and the blockchain. But I think I've shown here that having a framework like this can be very powerful and can bring a tremendous potential to both to generate a safe supply chain, but also to build stronger relationship between partners. Thank you very much. I appreciate your attention today, and have a great day.